Hello and welcome to the first ever recording of Breathe with me. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Chris, an online wellness coach and yoga instructor. I've never recorded like this before, so this is a new venture and a new challenge for me, but it's one that I'm relishing. I've got a lot to share and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to do so. My aim with these podcasts is to introduce you to the art of breathing, meditation and relaxation. I say art because that's exactly how I see it. I studied yoga for a year before I qualified. I went hoping, as with all of my previous qualifications, to walk out with a detailed understanding of the safe and effective alignment of each of the asanas, the yoga positions. I went with a very Western view of what yoga is, a set of movements and positions with which we could improve the body. Yet what I found was much deeper than that. There is a rumour that yoga was created as a set of exercises which strengthened the practitioners sufficiently enough to allow them to sit cross-legged for a longer period of time. Yet this belief is born of the Western interpretation that yoga is the positions. Instead, we find that yoga was originally just about breathing. It was designed to boost the vitality of your body by improving the way that you breathe. Now, it may well be the case that the asanas that we now call yoga were created to allow the original practitioners to sit cross-legged. But make no mistake, the cross-legged breathing exercises that they were preparing for was what they called yoga. It was born from the idea that there is this form of energy that runs through the body, a spiritual energy that can be increased by breathing practices. In yoga, they call this energy prana, and it's interesting to note that ancient Chinese medicine separately came to similar theories and practices. They just called it qi. Now, whether you believe in it or not is irrelevant, because even Western medicine is now coming around to the previously unseen benefits of breathing exercises and meditations. Now, I walked away from my time studying yoga with exactly what I wanted, but also with something I never expected, a passion for sharing the benefits of breathing. As a childhood asthmatic, I have always appreciated each breath, but these practices gave me something new. They allowed me to not only breathe as well as my peers, but to breathe better. Suddenly, I could slow my breath down to make a single exhalation last a minute. I could breathe in such a way that made me so hot I'd begin sweating, even though I was sitting still. I could breathe to calm down or to wind up. I could use a breath to find headspace, and some even changed my experience of time. People ask me what meditation is, or what yoga is, and the only real honest answer I can give them is that it's an experience. I don't believe that we will all experience the same, but we can't test that. Our experiences are our own. So instead of describing meditations to you, I decided to make this podcast to show you what the breathing exercises, what the meditations, what they are, and what it feels like. I used to think that the goal of meditations was to silence the inner dialogue in our mind, but I now know this can't be done. We can't silence our minds. We can't achieve enlightenment or inner peace in totality. We can only strive towards these ideals. But don't let the certain failure of this goal put you off. The art is not about reaching perfection. It's about the journey towards it. Like the most famous paintings, it's in the failure to achieve perfect that we find real beauty. The closest we'll ever get to inner peace or enlightenment or a silent mind is when we try, knowing and accepting that we will never get there, but being satisfied with every step towards it nonetheless. Meditation teaches us many things. It teaches us that our thoughts are not our own, that they are not within our control, which in turn teaches us that these thoughts do not define us, nor do they control us. It allows us the chance to connect to who we want to be, and teaches us the skills to separate that voice from the other internal dialogues in our mind. And meditation's not passive. We don't sit and do nothing. The best way to meditate is to give yourself a task. In some of these podcasts, we'll use visualizations. Some other times we might chant, and for most of them, we will do breathing exercises. Mindfully breathing is one of the most basic meditations that we can take anywhere we go. I hope to introduce you to a new breathing exercise or a relaxation every week. I know of my limitations and my time commitments, and so I can't promise every week of the year, but I shall aim to do as many weeks as I can. You can expect each recording to be anything from 5 minutes long. Some will be tutorials teaching you the process of a breathing technique, and others will be practices, guided sequences for you to listen to as you practice the breathing technique you learnt on the previous episode. My hope is that you'll pick up the tutorials each week and learn the basics of the exercise and then follow the guidance recording. And for the best results, I'm recommending that you try the guidance recording on a daily basis between the weekly tutorials. To make it easier to incorporate into everybody's lifestyle, I'm going to try to keep the guidance podcasts to 5 minutes. But I may throw in some longer practices because I know some people like a real challenge. Now on the breathing exercises, we'll need to be seated. On a chair, cross-legged, or wherever you're comfortable. Most importantly though, we want to try and be unsupported. So if you're in a chair, perch yourself on the edge and focus on sitting as tall as you can. As we strengthen the breath, we also strengthen the muscles that support the breath, which are all entwined with the muscles that support our posture. It's best then to strengthen them together, sitting as tall as you can, unsupported. For the meditations that aren't breathing exercises, we'll be focusing on the opposite skill, which is relaxation. For the best results here, we want to be laying down or completely supported so that you can completely let your body go. Laying on a flat, hard surface like a yoga mat, a rug or a carpet on the floor is usually best, but I'd suggest you bring blankets or you wrap yourself up warm. As we go into deep relaxations, our body cools significantly as our body pulls our blood supply back to the vital organs deep within the body and away from your extremities. If we get cold, this prevents us from going any deeper, so make sure you stay warm. And remember also that you get to set the environment. So darken the lights, put on a relaxing piece of music, or put a do not disturb tag on your door. It also goes without saying that it's up to you to ensure that you are safe. If you're worried about the environment you are in, you won't relax and you won't achieve the same results. I cannot wait to guide you through some of these breathing exercises and meditations to see if we can take you on a similar journey to the one that I've been on. If you wish to reach out to me, I'm online for coaching, advice, feedback, whatever it is, don't hesitate. Find me online and get in contact. And so until next week, until your first breathing exercise, stay well and keep breathing.